Hello traders, welcome to my channel once more. On my Telegram group, I gave an announcement that I'm going to be starting the course from A to Z, right, in an organized manner that people who have been suffering can go through the course and actually understand, because this one will be organized unlike the videos I've been dropping before. So this is the part 1 out of the course, right? So you make sure you watch this part and the upcoming parts in this playlist. This will be organized into a playlist. So if you are new or if you have been struggling to grab the whole concepts that I've been teaching on my channel, then this is the video for you to start with. So this will be the part 1, and this part 1 is going to be on pullbacks, right? I'm going to explain to you how we identify pullbacks in the charts and how we use them, right? This part 1 will be how to identify, then the part 2 will be how to use them or what they are used for. So without wasting any of your time, let's go straight into the topic for today. So here on my screen, you have to excuse me for my drawings, right? Some of them are not really accurate. I had to personally draw this. So in this video for today, we are going to identify pullbacks, right? Now, we are going to use this first example here we are going to use this for our first example, right? Now, for a pullback to be valid, right, the market needs to take out the highest candle in that range. It needs to take out the high of the highest candle in that range and the low of the lowest candle in that range. So this is a bullish scenario. So in a bullish scenario, if we start from here, right, if we start from here, you see that the high of this candle is right over here and the low is here, right? The low of the candle is here. So if you look from here, right, you see that this high was taken out, but the low was never taken out. So this is our highest candle in the range. Remember, you are taking the highest candle in that range. So now that the low of this candle has not been taken out and another candle has formed and taken out the high of the candle, we only need to move this condition to the next candle, because now this candle becomes the highest candle in that range. So if I move this to the next candle, right, that is the next candle high and this will be the next candle low here. So what can you see here? This red candle clearly took out the low of this green candle, and then the subsequent candle, which is this blue candle, which is the green candle, went ahead now to take out the high of that green candle. So now here we have a valid pullback. So if I'm to represent this on my line diagram, this is how I represent the move, right? I represent the move like this. That is how the move is on the line diagram. So this is the conditions that are required for the market to give you a valid pullback. So after this market has given us a valid pullback, right, we need to look for the highest candle in this range now. The highest candle that went above this candle was this candle. So this is where we'll continue the condition of a valid pullback from. So this is our scenario 1. Then down here we have our second scenario as well. What we have here is we have this highest candle, right? The low never got taken out. Clearly, as you can clearly see, this is our low and we have the candle high up here. So this market has not taken out the low of this candle. Instead, it went ahead to take out the high. So now once it has taken out this high, the market, this candle is no longer the highest candle in our range. So it's now this highest candle. So all we need to do is move our condition to the highest candle in that range at that moment. So this is our highest candle in that range, and you can clearly see from here that this candle happens to wick below the low of this candle and take out the high as well. So the low of this candle has been taken out and the high has been taken out. So this is also a valid pullback here, right? So this is also a valid pullback at this point in time. So let's go over to a much complicated pullback, a much complicated scenario. Let's say, for example, we have candles that have the same height, right? Sorry for the diagrams. This is supposed to be green. That's a bullish candle, right? Let's say we have candles here that have the same high. So if you look from here, right, this is our highest candle. The high has been taken out by this candle, and you can see that this green candle and this red candle has this equal highs here. So how do we consider this? In this case now, we'll take the shortest candle. We'll take the once the market takes out the low of the shortest candle and goes ahead to take out the high, we'll consider that a valid pullback. So in this case now, you can clearly see here that our shortest candle is this candle, right? Is this green candle here. So this was our shortest candle. When I say the shortest, I mean the one that has the shortest low, right? So this is our shortest candle in this range, and the market has happened to take out that shortest candle. So all we are waiting for is for the market to close above this high, and we can validate this as a valid break of structure. So far we have a valid break of structure here. We have a valid break of structure here. We also have this valid break of structure at this point. Now let's move over to the next scenario. In this scenario here, we have this bullish market, right? Now you can clearly see that here, coming over to this fourth example here, what we have here is we have this candle, right? We have the high of the candle and we have the low of the candle. So clearly this is the highest candle at this in this range, and normally the condition states that the low of the highest candle needs to be taken out, and the low needs to be taken out, right, and the high needs to be taken out as well for it to be a valid pullback. So clearly what you can see from here is this is the high of this candle, this is the low, right? So these were never taken out. All these other candles form inside this bigger candle body. So here we don't have a valid pullback. So this is an example of an invalid pullback. So this is how we identify pullbacks. And let's go over to this pullback here. This will be the last example for the bullish scenario, right? So looking at this, what we have here on our screen, right, we have our highest candle. As the market is going up, we have the high of this candle, which starts from this side, right? Let me fix that. Blue and yeah. So this bigger pullback starts from this high to this low here, right? That is the high of the pullback, and this is the low. But inside here we also have a smaller pullback. So as we are going ahead, we are going to see the uses for this type of pullbacks in the future, right? So let's go over to the next pullbacks on our list, which will be bearish pullbacks, right? We have the low of the candle, right? Now if you, from what you can observe, I can see that from what you can observe is that the next candle took out the high of this candle without necessarily taking out the low. So obviously what we need to do is we move our condition, right? We simply just transfer our condition that is our highest candle. That is our highest candle there, and this is the low. So the low of this highest candle got taken out, and eventually market came out to take out the high. So this is a valid pullback as well. Now what I wanted us to talk about was this pullback here as well. So you can see that if you start looking at these pullback scenarios and we start looking at it from this low, we are going to have this highest candle, then the low never got taken out, and this highest candle, the low never got the low got taken out and the high also got taken out in this case. So if I'm to mark that out, we illustrate it by a line like this, right? So that is the high of the candle and that is the low. You can also clearly see that this is a valid pullback, but now there is a small twist to this one here, because this is a pullback inside another pullback. So inside this big pullback which starts from this high. Okay, so these are the bearish examples that we have here on our screen, and we are going to go through it, right? So these bearish examples are very few as compared to the bullish example, because I understand that with this bearish example all you need to do is get the concept right, as I believe that you have gotten the concept for the bullish examples. So for this bearish example, we have the market that is, these bearish pullbacks are formed when the market is pulling down, right? It creates a small bullish move and then continues to the downside. So how do we identify these pullbacks? First of all, we need to find the lowest candle in that range. So if the market is pulling down and the market has formed this candle, you see that this candle will be the lowest candle in our range, right? Because it's not engulfed by it's not inside the body of another candle. So what we need for the market to do is take out the high of this candle and then take out the low. Basically, it's just the opposite of what we are looking for on bullish pullbacks. So now, right, let's go over to the next candle, because this candle has taken out the low of the previous candle. So whenever a candle takes out the low of the previous candle, we update this condition to the next candle. So updating this condition to the next candle means we move this to this low here and this to the high of the lowest candle at that point. So if you happen to see here, this market came up above the high of this red candle, and so it took out that high and then took out the low. So here we have a valid bearish pullback in this case, right? You have this small pullback to continue bearish. Now moving over to the second example here, what we have here is we have the market gradually pushing down, right? This was the lowest candle, the low got taken out, so this now became the lowest candle. So in this example here, we can see we have this candle, right? This candle was basically the lowest, but this one took over. And whenever a candle takes over, what you need to check is the high of that candle. When was the high taken out? So here you can clearly see that the high of this candle, which at the time was the lowest candle in this range, got taken out. So once the high of this candle got taken out, what we are waiting for is for the low to be taken out. So the body of this candle took out the low of this candle, which we have then giving us our next valid pullback at this point in the market. So now, for if there is another pullback that is supposed to occur here, so this now will be our next candle that we consider the high and the low, right? So the high of this candle will be here. If you need another pullback to occur, the high of this candle will be here, the low will be here. So we will need the market to take out this high and then take out the low for us to have our next pullback, because this is our lowest candle in this range. So let's move over to this scenario here. So first of all, our lowest candle here was this first candle at this point in time, and you can clearly see that this bullish move occurred within this candle. So here we don't have a valid pullback because all these green candles were engulfed by this one. So what we need to do is we move to the next candle, which is this red candle, right? The next lowest candle in our range is this red candle here. So we just transfer that condition to from there to here, and we wait for the market to take out this low. So guys, I hope you found this video interesting and you learned something from this video. If you have not properly understood, you can go back and watch the video multiple times to make sure that you properly assimilate this. In the part 2 and in the next video, I'm going to be showing you what we use these pullbacks for and how you can use it to improve on your trading journey. So make sure you watch this multiple times and make sure you understand the video before going to the part 2, because this will be knowledge that will be accumulated as you watch along, right? What you learned in part 1, which is this part, you're going to apply it in part 2 to understand part 2 and part 3 as it comes, right? So thanks for watching. God bless you all. Have a nice day. The part 2 will be dropping soon.